Hey everybody, I'm Chris Kao, the game director on DC Universe Online.
And I'm Jens Anderson, the creative director on DC Universe Online.
Well, we have some questions, so let's get straight to them.
From Matthew A. on Facebook, thank you for your question, Matthew. Will I be able to use and customize my hero villain with plant powers?
Yes, you will. In fact, we call it nature, so it's a bigger bucket than that. It's not just plant powers, it's anything having to do with nature themed, including shape changing, power over plants, and even some weather control abilities. It's a huge amount of stuff that you'll be able to do, but remember, you'll also be able to specialize within it and get better at any one of those elements. So if you're really inspired by Poison Ivy, you can really make that character come to life.
Yeah, it's a really cool power set.
Well, let's see what else we have here. Lachey on MySpace asks, can characters in game interact with each other, like being able to pick up each other and fly away or towards danger? Yes, Lachey, there's so many different types of ways that players can interact in this game. We try to bring DC Universe alive online, and so that means you've got to do everything you can be able to see in the comics, or at least as much as we can fit in for release. So you'll be able to fight, you'll be able to save, you'll be able to tie people up. I mean, the interactions and the host of them is just kind of crazy, the amount of things that you'll be able to do.
You know what else? You know, people always ask if we can carry up other people. You know, Green Lantern, he can make anybody look like a chump because he carries people. You know,
Batman has looked a little bit less than stellar some days that way.
Hi, here, you can't fly. Stand on this platform I made for you.
Well, he's helping a friend out.
You can do that, right?
Yeah.
You can always put people in a bubble and, you know, carry them that way.
One of my favorite PvP things, in fact, is put you in a bubble and then kick you down the street.
Starving Artist on MySpace asks, how will you address the issue of people creating tank mage characters? Tank mage type characters in other games make teaming virtually non-existent in the game.
So just so everybody knows, a tank mage is someone who has so many defenses, either through the armor they're wearing or the abilities they have, that they're virtually unkillable. At the same time, they have so many offensive abilities, they can damage so much that they can just put anything down. So you have the best of both worlds, and unfortunately in this case, in some games it's made it sort of, why do I need other folks? I can do everything myself. DC Universe Online, what we really care about is portraying that hero or villain experience from the DC Universe. So what that means is everybody can fight. Everybody can punch somebody else, take somebody else down. So because of the host of weapons you have, everybody can do damage. Now everybody else has a specialty on top of that, where they can defend things, you know, defensively. They can additionally support with healing and those types of things. Or they can control the situation and really make sure it doesn't go out of whack. But everybody is in there fighting. So the way that we deal with it is to say the baseline is everybody's a hero. Everybody's a superpowered villain. So you're gonna need that just to get in the door. And then the enemies are even more powerful and on top of that. So we've purposely designed it not to make that specific mistake, and instead made sure that the group together feels like heroes and has ways to rely on one another when they're in these fights.
And we're talking about the IP with the ultimate tank mage, right?
Oh yeah, actually. Superman. So except for Superman,
right?
It all works out.
Luckily he's an NPC, so
yeah, exactly.
Don't take on the Superman if you want to live
Probably
through that.
Not a wise thing.
No.
Bryn on MySpace asks, is it possible to have a melee weapon like a sword and a gun, or a gun that changes into a sword and stuff?
Ah, interesting. All right, well, all characters have both range and melee powers, right? So let's say you had a gun and you were, you know, primarily shooting it. You can actually go into a melee mode where you turn those around and start pistol whipping guys with it and punching people. Likewise with bladed weapons, you know, you can, you know, go ahead and slash with your sword. And maybe you're throwing a blade and stuff like that. Also, the cool thing about our game is that your power source is oftentimes an emission point, right? It's an emitter. So if you're a fire guy, you might be slashing with your sword and then shooting fire beams out of your sword. So it becomes a ranged weapon at that point too. It all kind of depends on what superpowers you have loaded out at the time, what you want to activate, what your power source does. Sometimes it's, you know, a focus item where you're healing your group. Other times it's something where, you know, you're slashing with it and you're shooting things from it.
Well, and more than that, it's not just necessarily about the weapon or the power source that you have. You have other items that you can pull out of your arsenal. I mean, Batman has his utility belt. He has all sorts of little gimmicks and gadgets to pull from. In the same way, any hero or villain in our game can get those kinds of things. Click them, heal yourself instantly, trap a guy. Now, you know, they'll have charges and be used up, but they give you a wider breadth of options. Now, this is a really great example of actually a piece of feedback from the community and from our own playtesting where we changed what we were doing. Originally, characters were exclusively ranged or melee, but we played it, we looked at the comics and we said, you know what, that's just not DC enough. In DC, Green Arrow gets in there and punches guys just as often as he shoots them with his bow. So we made the change based on the questions you guys have asked, the community involvement, and played it and said, man, that's a lot more fun.
Yep, absolutely.
This is a really complicated one. I'm just warning you up ahead of time, right? Okay. A lot of depth to it. Maybe some math involved. You ready?
Why are you giving me this question?
All right, you ready then? T'Challa on MySpace is hoping that Lobo, man, I even messed that up, will be in the DC Universe Online. Will he?
That's a good question.
Take a second.
So,
you got it?
Yeah. No, he won't be.
No, sorry. Lobo.
Sorry. Not
no
at launch.
Space Dolphin.
Yeah, not at launch at least, right? And this is much to the lament of our lead character artist, Jason Smith, who constantly says he will work overtime and extra hours just to build Lobo so we can put Lobo in the game. But, you know.
It's kind of ironic that the guy who makes all of the characters in the game can't get a character in the game.
I know. What's up
like
with that?
We're cruel or mean or something.
I know, we're just mean. But here's the deal. You know, the good thing about this game is that it's live and it's gonna grow over time. And right now at launch, we're focusing on characters that are primarily based on Earth or have had a lot of interaction on Earth. Lobo's a very sort of cosmic figure. He has come to Earth at times, but most of the adventures take place off in space and, you know, on different planets and things like that. So when we get to that point of the DC Universe, space, maybe you'll see a little Lobo.
Oh, that was nice. Are we promising something here?
No, I didn't promise
No,
anything.
exactly right.
It's a universe.
Put the legal text up right now. He did not promise anything.
There's planets and galaxies and universes and.
But in all seriousness, there's a lot more to go and a lot more to start off. DC Universe Online is just the beginning of this entire universe online. So look for a lot of those characters to be there then. Great.
Like Lobo.
All right. Well, I think that does it for now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, well, thank you all for your questions. Keep them coming. Like we said today, they really impact what we're doing and what we're thinking here. So thanks for joining us in the studio, DC Universe Online.
Later. See you on the sites.